Our planet is our home. If we keep treating our planet poorly, or our home poorly, it's gonna become a poor or bad home, and in turn make everybody living in it, everybody living on Earth, not very healthy. As far as I know, right now we cannot just go and build a new home or get up everybody and just go to a new planet and start over. Not yet, anyways. But we need to take care of what we have now. There are many reasons we need to preserve our wildlife. Some of those reasons include providing more wildlife biodiversity, continue to develop new medical research and breakthroughs, minimizing the negative effect on endangered species and climate change, and most importantly, just the enjoyment of nature itself. Bring me to my first topic, endangered species. So we've killed around 500 species in the last 100 years, since the 1900s. That's an estimation because we're constantly finding new species. So we might have killed off some before we even known. Human interactions or wildlife, it's up to debate. Anyways, timber wolves were once all over the United States, and they opened up killing them rapidly just to get rid of them, and they pushed them to all the way almost up into Canada and just very rare isolated spots in North America. But now, thanks to the conservation efforts and us as a human race realizing why we shouldn't be doing this and the effects it has on our environment, timber wolves can be seen almost entire northern part of the United States, and even a variant of them down in New Mexico area. But I can testify to this because I was up north, deep in the woods in Wisconsin, I was outside at night, and we have these coyotes that they group in like packs and stuff at night, and they make these really loud diping noises, and they're talking to each other. It's almost like a bark, but all of them are doing it all at once. It's really loud with everything else going on. The whole night's like a big old orchestra. But out of nowhere, off in the distance, I heard this really long howl, and a few others that joined it, and it was so eerie because every noise and animal and everything just stopped, and it was silent. And even after the howl stopped for 2 seconds, it was still really, really silent, and then all of a sudden it started up again. It was crazy. But I just think that if we kept pushing those wolves out, and further north, and maybe even kill them off, I would have never been able to experience that. So I would hate for us to just completely cut off some kind of enjoyment like that for everybody to enjoy. So brings me to my next point, just enjoyment in of itself. So there's many ways to enjoy the wildlife and outdoors. I live in England now, and I never knew this, but there's a big group of bird watchers here, and I ran into one. I was out at the lakes. It's not really lakes, like a pond, swamp area. They call them lakes, and I was just sat and talked to him, and he had like a duck hunting tent kind of setup going on, and like a huge camera with a tripod, and I just talked to him for half a day. But yeah, there's a huge group of people that just sit there and take pictures and try to find these rare birds. And he was looking for one called a purple herring. I got it up here right now, because his cousin or his brother saw it the week before, and he had to get it. One of his brother, he just wanted to see it. But I guess it's purple at sometimes a year or in certain light. But anyways, whatever the reason, many different people enjoy the nature environment in their own way. So we need to keep it there so that they can pass it on to their kids or their friends and show them how they enjoy their environment. So climate change is a big deal when it comes to protecting our wildlife, and I'm not going to get too far into that, but the big reason for me is just deforestation. So we clearly need wood for our industry and stuff, but we cut down 15.3 trillion trees a year. That's a whole lot of trees. Yes, this world is pretty big and there's a lot of forests out there, but 15 trillion trees, that's half the size of England. gone, just cut. And trees don't grow very fast. And all my reasons kind of tie into together. So when we cut a tree down, we release all that carbon it holds. So that's one of the debates on why climate is changing so much, because of all the carbon we are releasing as a race. Because while we breathe air, carbon's kind of absorb, or trees absorb carbon, and they hold that. So when we cut it down, it just releases. But on the other point, when we cut out all these trees, you're taking away a house and a home for animals and plants to survive. You're cutting down that whole ecosystem, which brings me to the next point, biodiversity. Up here I got a chart of a very good or a high diversity ecosystem and a low diversity system. So let's say we lived on like a magical island where there's one farm, one grocery store, and 100 people. Well, if that grocery store closes because of a fire or whatever, right? Everybody dies. Like, let's say we can't, you know what I mean? We can't get food. So that's like a very weak a very weak ecosystem with low diversity. But let's say there's 5 farms and 3 stores and, all of us. Well, if one store closes and a farm is famine or whatever, we can still pretty much survive. So that's what it means to be diverse, high diversity. And with like climate change cutting into it, the more you keep changing their environment, the harder it is for nature to adapt. So when you're cutting out different species and you're cutting out their home and you're changing their climate, all these things kind of add up. If it was just one of them, they would more than likely Mother Nature would be able to adapt. But because it's all of them at once, it's just too much and not enough time to overcome all this. So it kind of all ties together. And if you don't enjoy species at all, or the wild, or nature at all, and you don't care about all that stuff, and maybe you want it to be a little bit warmer anyways, all around the world, if anything, medical discoveries is a huge reason we need to start preserving our wildlife. So we discover plants and animals every day in the Amazon, like a lot. I think it's like 90 species a day. So, and right now they believe there's 28,000 plants that provide medical capabilities. So why, in my aspect, why cut off? So let's say we have a plant and we destroy that. Well, with today's technology ever growing and ever changing, we don't know what that plant could have provided us in the future. So why close that door for us never to be able to explore that area again? You know what I mean? This man up here, Dr. Fleming, his example, he found mold, he found penicillin from mold. A complete accident. It was in his petri dish, and he was wondering why it was there. I mean, that's just a good example. We don't know what's going to happen in our world or how it's going to change. So why close the doors on ourselves to be able to never experience that again, or open it, new breakthroughs. So whatever you think is most important on helping Earth, I ask you, please just get involved with a group or organization, and if we all just do a little thing, it doesn't have to be huge, but so many of us, if we all just do a little thing, it can make a huge impact. And so like one day you'll be walking in a park or on a trail, and you can tell your grandkids a story about the one time you helped this earth, and like you made a big difference in preserving it. And they might not appreciate it when they're that young, but they might grow up to do it and appreciate it.